Hi everybody, my name is Jessy and thanks for joining me today. Uni was a really hard time for me. It was a very alienating time. I didn't have very nice housemates in halls. I had some really amazing ones, some absolutely amazing ones, but I had some very horrible ones too. And I guess my morals were very different to these people, but they made it very difficult for me to live where I was living, which then affected how I felt about university life. It really pushed me into all sorts of difficulty. And not just that, but it put me in some real dark places, some really dark places. Not that I regret university, it brought me the love of my life. I got to experience actually growing up. And I'm sorry if I cried because it is a really hard topic to talk about. But without giving too much detail, the first night that Scott came over as a first official date, basically these girls and some guys, basically when they came back from a night out, so Scott and I were actually in bed at this point, and we were sleeping, and all of a sudden we heard banging on my door, like literally thumping on my door, and then suddenly banging on my wall. It was like rooms side by side by side, and they were single rooms, and so it meant that where my bed was, it was the wall of the girl who was living next door to me. So it meant that she and a group of people who tormented me, it was torment. They put me through torment for a good few months of my university life, and it really fucked me up. At one point we even had it was like a resident advisor, several occasions when he had to give me sleeping tablets, and I don't even know if that's legal, I don't know if that was allowed, but I couldn't sleep because I was just being tormented and I was facing a lot of internal trauma in my head. And so they spent ages banging my door, calling me a bitch, like shouting, saying all these horrible things. And yeah, anyway, they did that for a while until I came out and was like, don't do that anymore, do not come banging on my door when this guy is this guy that I really like is here and you're embarrassing me. And just, I stood up for myself for a little bit, but it didn't really work anyway. I felt really worthless. Sorry. Whatever. I'm so sorry. The thing is, I'm really emotional right now and I need to explain why. Like, I've been honest. I've been honest about my background. I've been honest about the things that I've been through. I've been honest about the self-loathing I feel, and I've been honest about my heart. And I genuinely feel really embarrassed crying right now. Because the thing is that to those girls that put me through that, and the guys that put me through that, they saw me as just a horrible person. I'm upset because you know all of that now. And I'd like to think that authentically I have been the same way through my whole life. It's just that I've been jaded and I've been broken. And I'm in pain. Even now I'm in pain for what I went through at university because I was the first person in my family to go to university, you know? It was such a big and proud moment for me. And so it was humiliating to not have any friends to graduate with. It was humiliating to have my parents see that, I was at uni for 3 years and nobody wanted to take photos with me and nobody wanted to throw their hat up in the air with me. And that I worked so hard at uni and I tried so hard to be good and kind. And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, and I'll tell you exactly what happened to cause this massive upset. And I had always been open, and I just wanted to be super loving and super excited, and I was really excited. I'd never been in a place before full of different cultures, and I guess that I'd lived such a small town girl for so long that I just went wild. Wild, not in a bad way, but just wanted to have fun and enjoy myself and just be free. Because for the first time in my life, I was away from people who growing up treated me like shit, who treated me like I was nothing, who treated me like I was just worthless. And so for the first time in my life, moving away to university, I finally felt free. And I made friends with a group of people. You know, at first we were all just really good friends with each other. It's funny because I was at a party, or we were having like a group gathering many years ago. We were filming it because at the time we would film these things. We would film parties. But either way, I left the room at one point in the recording, and when I came back, everything was normal. It was great. I rewatched that footage, you know, because we put it on YouTube, and they completely slated me the moment I walked out the room. And then acted like everything was normal. And even I notice now when I watch it, there's side eyes, and it's less like people laughing, or like laughing at my expense, and I feel sick. I feel sick thinking that, or seeing that and thinking about it. Do you know what that's like? That uni, this was my home. That one tiny room was my home, and it was my only safe space because my home was 4 hours away. And I didn't want to admit to my parents or even my friends outside of university. Sorry. I didn't want to admit to anybody what I was going through because I was really embarrassed. Oh, here's Jessy again, bringing up the bad people, bringing out the bad in people. Because I don't think they were bad people. I just think that they caught up in the gang mentality, and it became this thing, and people have to have someone mutual to hate, right? Isn't that the saying? So it was me, and it made them closer. And so it meant that I could no longer go out because I had no one to go out with. I couldn't go out to lunch. I had no one to go with. I couldn't really cook in my kitchen because if I did, there would be silence. It would be uncomfortable. I know that they'd be talking about me or looking at me behind my back and making faces. I'd caught them doing that before, and it's just like, what is the point? And that continued, basically. That continued on, and no one ever really got over it. We did have like a slight making up, but how can you move forwards from something when for most of your university life these people truly tormented you? And I'm not even gonna lie, I wanted to die. And it makes me sad because these people knew that that's where they were driving me to. And still they continued to blast the music that hurt me, to bang on my door, to slip unkind notes, to make fun of me, to spread lies about me. And so people knew about me and knew what kind of things that they thought about me, whether true or not. And I just spent the rest of university life being incredibly lonely, feeling incredibly sad. And I lived like that up until a month ago when you amazing people came into my life and showed me a friendship that I never ever had. Showed me kindness that I guess I really needed. Because not only had I given up on humanity, I'd given up on myself. And then when you lose your sense of self-worth, nothing really matters and you've got nothing to lose. Therefore, you live every day just waiting for the right moment to die. But you know me, and I'm not a strong person. I'm not an amazing person. Please don't think that this is me saying that to you at all. But I had every opportunity in my life to give up. And I don't know why, for some weird reason I just never did. And even though it was the most painful thing I've ever been through in my whole entire life, It was the biggest thing that taught me an amazing lesson. I know that was such a long story and it went on different directions. I hope I haven't traumatized you or annoyed you from speaking my truth and my experience. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!